And switching gears to New York, obviously earlier this year you made waves with this announcement of reconciliation with the Senate Democrats, that there would be this multi-pronged effort to have a Democratic majority in the Senate. And on this trip, you were traveling with your coalition co-leader, Dean Skelos, who, you know, if things go according to plan, you'll no longer be sharing leadership with him, but with the Senate Democrats. What was that like on this trip, traveling together? How would you describe your relationship now with Senator Skelos?
Well, I always prided myself on, my ability to govern. Governing comes first, politics is second. We are in the political season now. But at the same time, the governor invited myself, he invited Senator Skelos, he invited Speaker Silver, and I think it was important. I think it was important to show a united front. I think it was important to show a bipartisan effort to the Israeli government. I think they really, understood and they appreciated the fact that everyone in New York is on board, is represented by the three leaders and the governor. So I think it's part of governing, and that's what I'm proud of. And as far as my accomplishments over the last 4 years with the IDC, working with the Republicans, working with Democrats, I think showed that when things get tough, when you have to speak as one, I think it works best, when everyone puts politics aside just for a little bit and, does the right thing. And I think we did the right thing on behalf of the Israeli people.
Sure. And late last month, the Daily News reported that this coalition, this reconciliation was at risk. You have some senators that are continuing to support your opponent, Oliver Capel. The Daily News reported that Gustavo Rivera, Liz Kruger were continuing to support him. How strong do you think this coalition is, and how hard will it be to hold it together and win enough seats on Election Day?
Well, I said it before and I'll say it again. I'm still committed that post-November, if there's a Democratic majority, the Democrats and the IDC will form a coalition. I thought the most important thing out of all this is that the Independent Democratic Conference remains a separate conference within the New York State Senate, because I think we've done an excellent job in moving the ball forward, in making sure the Senate works again, and I'm very proud of that. And there's plenty of time, for politics, but I think governing, we can accomplish that. But also I want to be clear. There's a lot of things that we want to get done. While we were able to have pass the toughest gun law in the nation, increase the minimum wage to $9, actually have marriage equality, the law of the land in the state of New York, and helping seniors with the high prices, prescription drugs, and soaring rents, we still need to do campaign finance reform. We still need to pass the DREAM Act. We still need to do other things, and I think we need to make sure that post-November we actually elect more Democrats, if this coalition is going to work, that actually believe in these things. Because right now, if we take the IDC and the Democratic Conference, put them all together, we do not have the votes to pass those important things, especially something as important as a woman's right to choose and codify Roe v. Wade. So that's something that's important, and I think that's going to be the crucial test of whether or not this coalition can pass the progressive pieces of legislation that were left undone.
And I wanted to ask you about that. In terms of what are some of the bills that might still be difficult to pass, even if you have a majority, a Democratic majority? I mean, like the DREAM Act, I know at least one Senate voted against
actually, there's two,
okay.
two duly elected Democrats in the state Senate voted no on the DREAM Act. So that means we have to make sure there's two more Democrats that support the DREAM Act, because clearly the Republicans were not supportive of the DREAM Act. Campaign finance reform. We don't have 32 Democrats that support campaign finance reform. I think we saw Republicans do not support campaign finance reform. So these are things that we have to figure out. Something as simple as protecting a woman's right to choose. I've been in the Senate now 9 years. We have never had 32 senators, Democrat or Republican, putting them all together, that unfortunately support a woman's right to choose. That has to change. We need to elect more Democrats that are pro-choice. So I think it's sort of a two-stage rocket. I'm going to, I'm in the middle of a primary. I'm very confident I'll get reelected, and so will all the other members of the Independent Democratic Conference. Then it's important to, work together to get things done. That's what it's really all about.
And how confident are you that there will be enough Democratic senators in your caucus and in the mainstream caucus to constitute a majority?
I don't know. you know, that's to be seen. You know, I'm confident that it can happen. But, you know, again, let the dust settle on the primary. Let's see, you know, how the November elections, you know, take shape. And, you know, let's make sure we elect Democrats that are actually beholden, you know, to the issues that we need to get done.
Senator Klein, thanks for your time.